Well, okay, that's the firing finished. Having a trusty beer, and yes, it is local beer. 13 hours, 3 o'clock this morning I set it off. 4 o'clock now, just finished. What will follow is a cut together periods of the day, like the interesting bits. There's lots of sitting about waiting, but I'll try to explain what the reduction part is, and the body reduction, and how the gas works, and that sort of thing. It can seem a little dry and sort of uneventful, not like throwing and turning. You throw big pots and it's all very spectacular. It's just me talking and pointing, really. This is what I do now, this is what I do now. You can't see in the kiln because this camera doesn't pick up the cones. I can see the cones. You can see a little bit of the flame, but it's a bright sunny day, so you don't even see the flame. So it might seem on the outset to be a bit of a dull thing, but today is the culmination of 4 to 5 weeks hard work, and you have to get it right. So although it might look and sound a little bit dry, what I did today affects quite a lot of money's worth of pots. And it's a kiln full, and like I say, 4 or 5 weeks of hard work, and it all hinges on getting it right today. That's why I start in the morning at 3 o'clock, because you have to pay attention to the firing right at the end and get the last bit just right. If I fire during the day and it ends at night, I'm tired, and I think, oh, that'll do. And the worst thing you can do when you fire in a kiln is think, oh, that's enough, that'll do. You have to be at your best. So I get up early, and I have my tired bit at the beginning when it's just watching the temperature go up, and then I'm awake and alive, and alive to the problems and possibilities of what might go wrong in the middle of the afternoon. Works for me, might not work for everybody. So anyway, what will follow now is a brief cut together part of the day. It's more about facts than images, unfortunately, but that's the way it is. Okay, see you tomorrow. Right, good morning, it's 7 o'clock. I'm just taking the temperature. It's just about, this is the pyrometer here. It's linked through the wiring to the thermocouple, and we're just about on 800 degrees now, which is not too bad. 4 hours we've been in. It goes up fairly rapidly at the beginning, and then it evens off, and I'll show you the graph a little bit later on about how I keep track of the temperature. It's important to keep a log of the temperatures and what happens and what you do into the kiln, because as much as you think you can remember, there's so much goes on during the day that you're never going to remember it. So I go to previous pages and check with the temperatures at certain times to make sure it's all firing well. So it's important to keep a good log of the firing, and I'll show you that in a little while once we get some data down that's worth looking at. Okay, so that's it, going along smoothly, and check back with you in an hour's time to talk about body reduction. Okay, just put it up, the PSI up to, oops, can you see me? Just put the PSI up to 2 PSI. We're about 850 now, 7:30. So to start up in the gas, ready for reduction in about 30 minutes. Okay, this is the log that I keep. This is on my shorthand here. Temperatures going up. Hours passed. Now 2 burners for 1 psi, 2 burners for 1.5 psi. That's when the pressure is going up. And what I do is I look at past examples. You can see how many firings I've had with this kiln. They're all logged and graphs. So what I do is I look at the previous firing and see what corresponds, so that I can sort of pre-guess what to do and work out how to put the pressure up so we don't get any lag. Here's the graph, it's going up nice and steadily. It's just starting to curve over a little bit here, so I've upped the pressure and it should go back up in a more horizontal fashion. And that's it. Once we get to it's at 800 now. Once we get to 900, it goes in 900 plus. It goes into body reduction. Okay, just it's 8 o'clock. Just checking the temperature now. You can see it. It's 9:22. So it's time to put it into reduction. And we do that by sliding over the primary air, closing the primary air, closing the primary air. You can hear the gas change noise there. The noise of the gas change. I've got a bit of a cough this morning. And then the damper goes in to where it says number 1 there. That's the first movement. And then it's a question of going back to the pyro. I'm watching the pyro now. The chances are it goes down. It's because whenever you change anything, there's a chance it'll go down. No, it's stopped and then it's starting to go back up again. Right. Okay, now that it's going back up, frog in my throat this morning. Now it's going back up, I can adjust the gas up to 3 psi. We only do one adjustment at a time. If you do 2, when something happens, you don't know what's caused it. So we do 1, make sure the temperature's still going back up and still climbing, and then I can adjust the gas now. Okay, so going down here. This is the gas tap. The gas is all linked through various pipes to this one tap here. And we're just going to turn the gas up to 2.5 psi. And then we go back. So they're about the wobbly camera. And check the temperature still going up. It's a lot slower now, and it's dropped a bit, look. So we just have to wait for it to go back up. And it's just a course of adjustment. And it's going back up now, look. Once it gets to 926, we'll be happy. Okay. While I'm waiting for that to happen, I'll explain to you the principle of body reduction. I've just put it into body reduction now, and that is the bit where we reduce the amount of oxygen going into the kiln, and at this temperature the flame has to have oxygen. There's no two ways about it. It's got to have it. So that oxygen's got to come from somewhere. Now if it's not in the atmosphere in the kiln, it comes out of the body of the pot. So it draws the oxides that are in the clay out of the clay into the glaze, and that's what gives you all your oranges and your colours and the flecks of iron that come through. If you don't do body reduction, you don't get that change in change in colour. Now there's a glaze reduction that happens at the end. I'll explain that to you, but that's just the fine tuning of it. All the major reduction work happens between 900, 920 up to 1100. So we'll leave it in reduction now for as long as it takes to get to 1100. It might be 2 or 3 hours. Last time I did a reduction firing, the body reduction wasn't that good. So I'm just going to pay attention to it now and leave it as long as it needs to go. Okay, just a little bit of information for everyone. You can see from around here that we're getting reduction because this is all soot on the top of here. Now if I can get a glove. And just take this out, and you can see the dark orange flame in there, and there's a lot of exhaust and a lot of sort of dirty flame coming out, which is what we want, which means we're getting good reduction. So we'll just keep going. Okay, we're at just about at 1100 now. It's 11 o'clock. So it's time to just take it out of reduction a little bit and let it go, keeping it in heavy reduction right to the end. One it wastes time, and also it wastes a lot of gas. So I'm going to ease off the damper a little tiny bit, just a centimetre, and it'll allow it'll be a less heavy reduction. Keep it in moderate reduction right through to the end then. That small distance there, that centimetre gap there, makes all the difference on this kiln. Every kiln's different. Every kiln I've ever built has been different. You just have to practice, really. Try everything out, make notes. So that's it. We just leave it as it is now. Just leave it as it is now until the cones start going over, and I'll show you that when it happens. We're getting near the business end of the firing now, so we have to check it every half. I used to check it every hour, but check it every half an hour now. There's some heat whacking out there now. You see the flames coming out. Cones are still not moving. We're on 12:20. So back again in half an hour. I don't know whether this video looks like it's a bit boring, just me coming and talking, but that's what the day's like. It's 12 hours of just check, see, check, adjust the damper, check, and wait and see. So, patience is the word, although I do have very little of it when it comes to doing stuff, but you have to be patient during this bit. Okay, check back in 2 minutes. Let's have a look at these. It's 12:40 by the pyro there, and the cone 9 is just starting to bend, and so that one is there. I'm not bothered with the bottom one because I know that won't be moving. So starting to get some action here now. I need to keep checking it every 10-15 minutes. It's starting to rain. Half of the course. And yeah, we should be able to see the end of this in the next couple of hours. Getting a bit hot in there. Okay, right. Cone 10 is bending now, top and middle. It's right over. Bottom cone 9 is down and cone 10 is bending, so I'm not going to overfire it like I did the last one. I'm going to shut it all off now, so I'm going to show you how we shut it off. Okay, I turn off the gas at the gas bottle so there's no gas left in the pipes. But to double check, I turn it off at the tap there. It's just a question of putting a piece of tile in there to seal it. Like this side here, I'll put a glove on because this is a piece of tile that folds up. So that's that one done. And then do is you push the damper right in till it's completely closed, and that's it sealed up. All done for another firing. Just 13 hours. So it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Started at 3 this morning. Time for a beer. One last thing I forgot to mention is that I put clay around the spy holes just to seal them, stop any air being sucked in, just to slow down the cooling. She knows work better with a slow cool down.